Hey y'all, I can see hey Bridget, how you doing, sugar? I can see some of y'all, I just can't see who you are. So if I didn't say hey, I don't know it's you. So talk to me, I talk back. We start in like a minute. Let's see. All right, hey y'all, it's 6 o'clock. Good evening, motherfuckers. Hey Rachel, you coming on, baby? Let me know and I'll bring you on if you want to come on. Shoot, good evening, motherfuckers. How y'all doing? How y'all doing? We finna get this thing popping, honey. That's what's about to happen. Let's see what we got. I got Bridget. Now, I can see something. We talking about self-sabotage. Okay, we back. Something just happened with the internet. I don't know what that was, but something happened. Hey, Felicia. I see you, sissy. How you doing, mama? Listen, now Mr. Tyler West, what's going on with my braids? He was talking about he wanted to jump on, so let's see. And can y'all hear me? Just let me know if you cannot. Let's see. Okay, Miss Rachel is coming on up.
I'm coming. Hey, hey, hey. Can you see me?
I cannot see you. I can hear you.
You don't see me? I see me on the camera.
Oh, wait, now it's coming up on my computer, but not on my phone. Weird. Okay, I can see you on this one, so we good.
Okay, as long as you can see me. Hey, good evening.
How are you?
I am amazing. I am so good. How are you doing, sis? You know what? I swear I don't know why I thought you were still out in Texas. That was so funny when you said the same time. I was going, you 2 hours ahead of me. You be moving. So, I be moving and you be moving. I'll be, traveling so much. I never know where I'm at. So, I'm getting ready to leave out again tomorrow. So,
see, I've been in Arizona now for 3 years.
Well, I knew you were
Texas.
there. I don't know why I was thinking you had went back to Texas. I knew you were there and you came out to Arizona. So I have no reason why I was thinking you had went back to Arizona. So I knew you had moved out to Arizona. So anyway, I'm excited about this topic. I don't know where Tyler's at. Tyler probably somewhere running the streets here in Portland because I'm en route to another meeting I got to go to. But I wanted to at least jump on with this one because this one was so dear to my heart. I said, I'll jump on and talk about this. Like I could talk hours for about this subject,
Yes,
I'm sure a
ma'am.
lot of people can, people just don't want to talk about it, but I have no problems with talking about it.
Okay, well, good, because we want to get into it. So, y'all, let me introduce y'all. This is Miss Rachel Jones, Portland, Oregon, where I'm from. This is your first time being a special guest on here, so welcome and thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So this is how we finna work this thing out, y'all. So, of course, I want to talk about self-sabotage, how we get to the age that we are. We done did some fuck shit. This is not so much about how the person you was with self-sabotage relationship. It's more or less what did you do to self-sabotage? Because what I've noticed, hey Tianda, what I know to be true, and ladies, this part is for you. You never hear a women say, I lost a good man, I fumbled a good man because A, B, C, and D. So I want to get all the way into it. Y'all know I'm all about accountability. Let's learn, grow, and love on each other. So, I got stories too. So I got one story. But let's talk about it. So what you got, Miss Rachel? What you got?
So let me tell you, it stems from self-sabotage for me.
Wait, I can't hear you
Away
now,
from
baby.
it.
You breaking
You know,
up.
am I breaking up? Can you hear me now?
Yeah,
Can you hear
I
me?
can hear you, but now you're real blurry. You must be going through a patch or something.
No, I'm just driving down the street. Let me see if I can. Let me pull over and see if I can get situated. Hold on here. I see an area. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, hold on. I want to park into this. Move this. Yeah, I'm trying to make this guy move out the way so I can back up into this spot. Hold on. That way I'll be stationary, not moving around. Okay.
Okay.
So my self sabotaging actually came after I had left my ex husband. And, we always think that we're healed and we're good and we're okay. And I wasn't, but I thought I was. But how I discovered I wasn't was when I started to get back out there dating, which I shouldn't have did the time frame that I did. I should have took more time to heal. I didn't know how to date. And I was meeting guys that, we pray for these guys, right? And we pray, and God sometimes give us what we ask for to show us we're not ready. And he
Mm-hmm.
was showing me I wasn't ready to be having my butt out here dating nobody. And so I would meet guys and they would be great and everything. But anytime they try to get close to me, I'd find a way to destroy the relationship by either picking a fight with them or finding some excuse not to call them back or anything I could do to just,
Mm-hmm.
anytime they want to get close to me, I find an excuse not to be close to them. And that's exactly how I was self-sabotaging my own relationships and myself, is because I didn't know how to be in a relationship. I hadn't healed myself. But of course I was faulting everybody else for that.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't
Mm-hmm.
taking ownership of it. And so it was easy to fault somebody else instead of faulting like you said, we can always talk about how it's somebody else's fault, but we never take ownership of
Mm-hmm.
what we were doing. And so that's when I realized that I had to stop and take a look in the mirror at myself and say, okay, what is it about me, Lord, I need to fix?
Mm-hmm.
What do I need to work on? I can't worry about nobody else.
Right.
I can't worry about what somebody did to me in my past. I can't worry about all that. But I got to
Mm-hmm.
figure out what I need to do to fix me.
Mm-hmm.
And it took me some time to do that. I mean, it took me a long time to do, like 5 years to work on me. I went to counseling, and people, we as Black folks don't want to go talk to people about our personal business. We don't want people
Mm-hmm.
to know our personal, but let me tell you something. Counseling was the best thing I could do for myself. I
Oh yeah.
healed, I got healed, I got healthy, and I was able to get into relationships that were healthy relationships. And not only that, I was able to discover what wasn't healthy, like what
Right.
wasn't good for me. Like
Mm-hmm.
anytime I met somebody with a certain personality type, I already knew I'm not even gonna waste my time because my peace and my sanity was worth too much. And the
Yeah.
biggest thing is we have to be willing to say, okay, what can I work on to make me a better person?
Mm-hmm.
Not focus on nobody else, not focus on what other folks say about you or whatever, because it's not about anybody
Right.
else. And that's part of the problem. We always so worried about what everybody else is gonna say instead of focusing on what we need to do and how we feel.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where I'm at in my life. It's like I don't even care about what other people think or say. It don't
Yep.
matter no more. It's
Yep.
about me. And when you get to that certain age, I don't live for nobody but me. As
Mm-hmm.
long as God is okay with what I'm doing, I'm good.
Mm-hmm.
If they
Mm-hmm.
not okay with it, it don't matter.
Right.
And but self-sabotaging is a mother. It's a bitch is what it is. It really is.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're not honest about it, if you can't look in the mirror and say, okay, this is me, I see what I'm doing, and just own up to it and face it, you're never going to heal from it. And you're going to continue to self-sabotage yourself while everybody else is moving on in life and being happy and you still being miserable.
That's true. That is true. It's a mother to self-sabotage. And a lot of times people don't even, they're not even aware that they're doing it. That's what makes it
Exactly.
crazy. You don't even know you're doing it until after a while you have to stop and say, wait a minute, I'm the common denominator with this. What the fuck is going on?
That's it, Trisha. You the common
Mhm,
denominator, and that was it. I didn't realize I was doing that until actually it was a man to tell me that that's what I was doing. He said, he said, you keep running from relationships because you don't know how to be in one. You don't
mhm,
know what it is to have a man love you and love you for you. Not
mhm,
not with conditions, not because they want something from you, but they genuinely, honestly just love you for who you are and not trying to change you. Like you don't even
mhm,
and thing is, I didn't even how could I love someone when I couldn't even love me? I didn't even know
mhm,
what I wanted in a relationship. I didn't even know what Rachel liked anymore because for so long Rachel was Jordan's mom or Ricky's wife. I didn't have a name, I didn't have an identity.
mhm,
I gave up a lot of things that I enjoyed doing when I got married. I gave up who I was, so I didn't even know who I was anymore. So it's like another thing I did, and this is serious, this is the truth, ladies. I first started getting online dating, and I share this because, like I said, we have to help each other heal. And I remember I kept seeing these stories about women who were online dating and horrible things that happened to them. And one story stuck out to me, and it was about a young girl who had been messing around with a married man. And of course, he
mhm,
told her he was going to leave his wife, be with her. And that was not the case. He did leave his wife, but he got with somebody totally different.
mhm,
So she automatically started dating men online. But what she was doing was trying to get back at him. But in the interim, she was mistreating all these guys she was dating. She was beautiful and they loved her, wanted to be with her. And she was like, I'm not trying to be with you. Like, oh no, I'm not doing this.
mhm,
Well, she did it to the wrong brother. And he beat her so bad, he put her into a coma in the hospital. And that
mhm.
scared me because I thought, what if that were me? What if I
Right.
was that kind of woman out here constantly dating men online and just doing things to piss them off, to hurt? Because even though I'm really trying to hurt this man over here, I'm really hurting
Mhm,
this man over here. And
mhm,
now that man is now hurting me. And so
mhm,
that's when I knew that I was self sabotaging Rachel. Like I was
mhm.
really doing more hurt to me than anybody else because guess what? Everybody else was moving on in life. They were happy
Right.
in relationships, and I'm still sitting over here miserable, crying,
Mhm,
trying to figure out why I couldn't have a relationship, why everybody else was moving on in life, and I wasn't. Well, it was because I was the problem. I was the issue.
mhm, mhm.
You
Yep.
know,
And
I
then it's wonderful
yeah,
when you can get to the root. You got to get to the root of the issue and kill it. But
yeah.
some of us, people be in denial, and women, for some reason, for whatever reason, women do not want to dig deep and say, okay, I'm really the issue here. It's not everybody else. As women, until we start to really do a self inventory and figure out what's going on with us, we're never going to grow and learn from each other.
Mm-hmm. And we got to stop being afraid of each other. We got to stop um, baiting each other or even feeling like we got to be in competition because I'm not in competition with nobody but Rachel.
Right.
I'm only trying to be better than I am every day for me, not for
Yep.
anybody else. I'm not in competition with any other woman. My thing is I give praise to all women. When I see another sister, brother, I know you're not, I say hello, I speak. And you know
Mm-hmm.
that about me, Trisha. I don't have to know somebody to speak. And that's part of the
Mhm,
problem is that, we always want to find something to put somebody down about something, and I'm not about that. Like I don't surround myself
mhm.
with people like that because that's part of the problem. We have enough stuff to deal with, especially
Oh,
now,
oh yeah.
especially now that we have to fight with each other, and instead
Mhm,
we should be building each other up, and we should be encouraged, especially when we know we have a sister that's broken, when we know that they've gone through something, and we've been there, and that's why I wanted to get on here because I know we have sisters out here that are broken, but I need to say that what I was broken. I was that sister that
mhm,
didn't know if I was coming or going. I cried many nights. I didn't know how to get up and wake up, but I knew I had a son to raise and take care of. And there is light at the end of the tunnel. You may not see it now. There's a little flicker, but trust me, it gets brighter and brighter each and every day. You
mhm,
can you can do it, but it's gonna take some work, and you gotta be willing to put in the work. You gotta be willing. I'm not kidding y'all. If you need to go see a therapist, go see one. There is nothing wrong with that. And not only that, it makes you a better person all the way around. It makes you a better
Mhm.
friend, a worker, whatever it is. You just change your whole
Mhm.
outlook on life when you begin to heal yourself from
Oh
within.
yeah.
You know,
Oh yeah. I'm definitely an
so
advocate for mental health, so I'm always like go to therapy. I've been broken before too, so I know what that do. But that's the problem with women. And when I say I'm talking about black women specifically,
specifically,
just
yeah,
piggyback on what you're saying, what you were saying. Black women, what makes me mad about us and is that we have all experienced the same type of hurt, but we'll judge the next black woman for some shit that we've already gone through or that we're going through. We already know what it's like, what it feels like for our husband or our man to cheat on us, but we'll flip it and be the side piece. Like the shit that we do to each other is out of control. So then you get a situation like you self-sabotaging and you will want your people around you to come up and say, "Hey, baby, what?" But shit, they too busy gossiping about the situation to even point out what the flaw is. So that's the problem.
exactly.
Like we can't, we keep pulling each other down because once we're in competition with each other, we're jealous of each other, and all this kind of. Now, when I say we, I mean y'all. You know, I ain't in no fuck shit like that. But that's the main. That's it.
Mm-hmm. And men, and the thing about that too, let's say this, men really look at that. They pay attention to how we are to each other.
Right.
They do pay attention to that. I love to have conversation about men and how they think, especially about how they think about us and how we act. And men pay attention to how we
Mm-hmm.
act, how we carry ourselves outside when we're out and about, when we're with a group of women, our conversations, what we're talking about, how we're talking. And, to me, the best way to know what a man wants is to talk to a man, because as a woman, I can't tell you what a man wants. I can tell you what I think, but
Mm-hmm.
he's the one that can tell me what he desires because
Right.
he's the man, and vice versa. A man can't tell another man what a woman wants. He can tell you what his perception is, but the
Right.
best way to find out is to talk to a woman as to what a woman would want or doesn't want or doesn't
Mm-hmm.
like. But that's the other thing too. Is like I just was reading something the other day, and that's what the brother was saying. He said, half the time women talk about, how come men this and how come men that. He said men give you what you present. And he was talking about how we present ourselves when we're out and about.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not trying to be disrespectful. He said, but ladies, when you're out here, you're exposing everything, men are going to approach you in that manner. He said, now you have every right to wear what you want to wear, how you want to wear it. But if you're asking me as a man, I'm going to
Mm-hmm.
approach you a certain way if that's how you're
That's how you
presenting
carry.
yourself. And
Yeah.
that's what he was saying. He said, now if you're not presenting yourself in a respectful way or whatever, you out here at the club shaking, always twerking, got your ass up in the air, you're showing your ass and your titties all the time, then that's how a man is going to look at you. He said, now if you can be sexy without everything hanging out.
Mm-hmm.
And he's absolutely right. I agree with that. We don't always have to be out here shaking booty shorts, our ass hanging out or whatnot have you. Now, if that's your dress, if that's what you do, that's what you do. I'm not going to disrespect you for that, but don't get mad if you're trying to figure out why you only get certain type of men trying to approach you. So,
Right.
we have to be careful of how what we're doing and saying when we're
Mm-hmm.
out and about as well too. Just like we're not attracted by certain men and their behaviors when they're out in public either. So we can't get mad
Mm-hmm.
at what they're saying to us because we know there's certain types of men that we don't want to approach us or we're not going to approach because we're not attracted to how they're acting when they're
Right.
out. I don't like loud cussing men and pants sagging all down and looking at that. I'm not attracted to that. So why would I
Right.
let someone approach me that looks like that?
Right.
Now, if that's what you want to wear, that's up to you. But I'm not attracted to that.
Mm-hmm.
You
Mm-hmm.
So we have
But
to,
women
but
have to know men are very simple in their thinking. Women will complicate the water. They'll muddy the water.
yeah,
But men are very simple in the way they see things. And if you start to bring it down a little bit, you can see what they see. Same what you're saying as far as dress and this, that, and the other. Men approach you based on what you look like, and a lot of times they approach you based on their mindset. And
Mm-hmm.
so you got to know the difference. Is he speaking to me like this because I'm appearing to be a certain way, or is he just a perfect fucking idiot? So you got a 50-50 shot. Because some of these men, they can't tell a thought from a queen. So they never know what it do. They talk to everybody the same. So you got to know who you talking to.
I agree with that. Absolutely. I agree. Sometimes they are idiots, but but yeah, self-sabotage it's so important that we recognize the signs of it. It's important that we realize that we have
Mm-hmm.
to get help for it.
Mm-hmm.
Because not just that, your mental health is at risk. Your health is at risk. Those around you are at risk. So
Mm-hmm.
it's a big domino effect to it
Mm-hmm.
when you don't address
Mm-hmm.
self-sabotaging.
Oh yeah.
You hurt your family, you hurt your kids, you hurt people around you, you mess up at work because you're constantly let me tell you, when I was self-sabotaging, my attitude was so bad. I remember I was still nursing over at Emmanuel Hospital, and I remember my boss said, Rachel, if I could clone you, I would clone you. But right now, your attitude, when I have got providers coming to me complaining about how you're talking, she was like, I don't know what's going on with you, but I need you to change up. Otherwise, we're going to have to let you go. And that's when I realized I had to see somebody. And I started
Yeah.
seeing one of our,
Mm-hmm.
and I was working in oncology at the time. And so we
Mm-hmm.
had counselors because, we deal with families that are, dealing with dying and cancer. And so one of the counselors, she was amazing. And she was the first one I went and talked to. And she was the one that said, you have not healed from the traumas you had gone through in your marriage. And that was the first time I ever heard that. And she was the one who recommended the person I started going to see.
Mm-hmm.
And that was like the eye opener. And so at that point, I had been out of my marriage for like 4 or 5 years. And I wasn't divorced, but I was out of the marriage. And like I said, if it wasn't for that happening with my boss, and thank God my boss was someone who cared about her employees, because they could have just fired me. But
Yeah.
she was like, that's not what I want to do, because I know this is not you. I know you're
Mm-hmm.
going through something, but so this is what we're going to do. We want to make sure you're getting what you need. And so from that point on, it was like, okay, I
Mm-hmm.
need to talk to somebody. And so
Right.
that's why it's important to recognize the signs, get help, talk to your family, let them know you're not alone. That's the other thing. We're shameful. We
Mm-hmm.
don't want to tell other people because we're embarrassed. It's shameful. We don't want them to know that, we're going, like a lot of people didn't know what I was going through until I finally opened up and talked about, like they were just blown away because
Mm-hmm.
we feel embarrassed and ashamed. Like,
Mm-hmm.
the marriage didn't work. So what did you do? And it's like, you don't want to tell people what you were going through and what was happening and how are people going to look at you. You're supposed to be this perfect mom and perfect wife and perfect this, and you're supposed to have the perfect family, and
Right.
all these things. And that's a lot of pressure on you at the age
Mm-hmm.
of 23,
Right.
23, 24, 25, 26. So
Mm-hmm.
all those things came into play. So that's why it's important to have a support system, people that you can depend on. And it's
Mm-hmm.
important, like I said, us as Black women to support each other and be there. And like
Mm-hmm.
you said, not sitting around becoming that person that
Mm-hmm.
they have, here you're married and they had somebody that was a side piece to their husband. Now you become that side piece. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like, we can't be doing that to each other, you
It's a
know.
cycle. It's definitely a cycle. Hey fam, thanks for joining, Sissy. It's a cycle because when you think about it, just going back into just bending the block on what you said, it's it's a fucked up place to be because you don't know you're ashamed because you can't talk to anybody. And see, men will be like, we can't talk to, but women be different because women can be vicious.
Mhm.
When you going through something and you're vulnerable and you share it with your cousin, your sister, your whoever, because all family ain't family, right? So you start to
Absolutely.
share and they will tear your ass in half. Like the
I
shit that
told
you
you.
made
I
big
told you.
bad.
I told you.
Yeah.
I told you.
You be
Yep. They
like,
want to. They want to put
damn,
you down. Yep.
right.
Yep.
It's like I need an ear, I need a shoulder, but they'll ridicule you the whole time. So my best advice to people when they're going through some shit and they really need, you got to get delivered from people. That's the first thing. You got to be like, you know what, fuck what y'all talking about, fuck what you thinking. You have to take care of your mental health, because self-sabotaging, it don't just affect your relationships, because you can self-sabotage at work.
Yep.
You could be volunteering somewhere, you could self-sabotage that. You could self-sabotage anything that's important to you,
Yep.
because things that are not important to you, hey Alfred, you're not going to self-sabotage because they're not important. But things that are important, things that can get you to the next level, you will find yourself doing exactly the opposite of what you're supposed to do. And you won't even have a rhyme or a reason as to why you have put yourself in a compromising position. Mental illness
Exactly.
is big, and people don't think that a broken heart can lead to mental illness. It absolutely can.
Yes, it
You
does.
have to get help.
People have died
Yeah.
from it.
Yeah.
People have died from it, you know. They because they don't feel like they have that support. They feel like they're alone, and they stay in a dark place and they can't climb out of it. And by the time they're trying to climb out, they're too late. And then
Mm-hmm.
they feel so ashamed or so bad that they end up taking, sometimes I hate to say, taking their own lives, you know, because they feel so bad because they had no one to talk to. You know, they had no one,
Mm-hmm.
they felt like they had no one to talk to. And like I said, that's that stigma that you get put on you, and you don't, like you said, and sometimes family is the worst because girl, I told you not, I told you he was okay, but they don't need to hear that right
Right.
now. They just need your support. They just need for you to be
Mm-hmm.
there for them. And whatever way that they need for you to be there, that's how you need to be there for them. That you don't need to start telling somebody, I told you
Right.
so, you didn't want to listen. That's the last thing I don't care if you're a man or a woman, that's the last thing anybody needs to hear.
Mm-hmm.
What they need to hear is, how do you need me to be here? And sometimes they don't need you to say anything. Sometimes they just need you to be there in the presence. They just need your presence. They just
Yeah.
need you to hold them, to just sit with them and
Mm-hmm.
just if they need to cry, let them cry, whatever. Just
Right.
be there and just be there in the moment for them. Like, it doesn't
Yeah.
take much to just be there for somebody. And sometimes don't open your mouth. If you don't know what to say, then don't say nothing at all. It's just like, for me, like when people has lost someone, you know, we always want to say, I'm sorry for your loss. And sometimes I don't say anything. I just say, I'm here when you need me.
Mm-hmm.
Because you know what? Everybody's there for somebody in the beginning, but it's 6 months down the road is when they're really going to need you. And that's when
Mm-hmm.
I pop up. Hey, I'm
Yeah.
just checking in. How you doing? You know, do you need
Mm-hmm.
anything from me? Do you just need me to come sit with you? What do you need for me to do?
Right.
I don't assume anything about anybody about what they need to do. We all can
Mm-hmm.
think we know, but we don't. Ask somebody, what can I do for you today? What do you need? How do you need me to show up for you?
Yeah. That's a
And even
legit.
and when you
So
don't,
that I do the same thing, Rachel. My question is, how can I serve you in
that's
this? What you need
right.
from me? I always ask that because I'm widowed, so I know what it is for everybody when the shit first happened. They blowing your phone up, they doing all this, and then 6 months down the line, hey girl, what's up? They just see you in the wind, like, and I'm like, bitch, I'm over here fucked up, and you ain't saying nothing. And so you have to. I know how it feels, so I make sure when I know somebody going through that I don't do them how I was done, and that's the difference between with a lot of black women. They'll be like, well, I mean, I called her. I called her one time. She didn't call me back. Or, we just so quick to throw each other away and so quick to not validate the other person's feelings. And that all comes from that cycle of self-sabotage. Well, I called her. I know he dead, but shit, I called the motherfucker last week. She didn't call me back, so just fuck it. Just like, what?
It's like
We
she's
we we are
grieving
so
somebody.
caught up.
No, she's not in the space, or they're not in the space to call you back right now.
Right,
Matter of fact, why don't you just show up over there and just say, "Hey, I'm just checking in on you. You hadn't called me back, so I needed to
right.
physically come see you."
I can't hear you now. Hey, Ronald. Oh, wait a minute. Rachel, you still there? Can y'all hear me? Somebody let me know something, because, oh, I think she's gone. She must have lost signal. Can y'all hear me? Give me a thumbs thumbs up or something. Oh, shit. Can you hear me? Somebody, anybody, give me a yay and nay. Who I got? Okay, Sarah says y'all can hear me. Okay, cool. Okay, so she must have lost signal because she completely dropped. So, but shit, she was hitting on some shit, y'all. I mean, like seriously, take heed to what it do because we we will mess up some shit in a minute. We mess up stuff. That's self-sabotage. That's for real. That's some real shit. And Rachel she hit a 10 on every one of them. I see you, Miss Sarah. I see you, ma'am. Well, let's see. Did I say hi to Ronald and Alfred? I think I did. If I didn't, hey. Okay. So let me get my shit together. So we'll see if Rachel gonna come back with us. But let me give you my self-sabotage story. And I want to hear some shit from y'all. Don't just be coming. Y'all know this is interactive. We all here to help each other. So you can't just come and take, get all these gems and run with them. You got to drop some gems too. You leave a gem, take a gem. So this happened when I was 19. And I still remember the shit like it was yesterday. I did the self-sabotaging. So when I was about 19, I was dating this guy. We was probably dating about 6, 8 months. Everything was cool. Our birthday on the same day, so we both Tauruses. So I just felt like we was vibing. Everything was cool. Now this is back when pagers, we all had pagers with no cell phone. So Thanksgiving, me and my cousin over to my auntie's house. Everything is everything. So the dude that I was fucking with lived across the street from my aunt. So we was like, well, come on, we had eaten dinner and stuff. So we go over there and we chilling. My pager go off. And it's this dude that had been trying to get with me for a minute. And I said, oh shit, it's old boy. She was like, right now? I was like, yeah. I was like, I'm gonna call him. Now, let me pause it. Common sense would have said, Trish, call if you're gonna call him, wait till you go back across the street to your auntie house to call him, dummy. Don't call him right now. Common sense did not play a part in that. So I tell my cousin, listen, look out and tell me when he coming, because we was upstairs in his room and he was downstairs. I said, when he coming, let me know and I'm gonna hang up. So I called old boy. I'm like, what's up, wooty woo? Because I'm a big old pimp. I'm thinking I'm somebody. And I done called the dude and we talking. My cousin don't say shit. He just walk in the room. I was like, boom, just hung the phone up. Who was you talking to, Trish? I'm not talking to nobody. Trish, okay, I had called my cousin real quick. Just stupid, just lying for no reason. He said, oh, that's what you did? I said, yeah. So he walked over to the phone and picked the phone up. Motherfucker hit redial on speaker. I'm like, no, he didn't. The dude answered the phone. He said, hey, what's up? This Wooty Woo. I ain't gonna tell y'all no names because y'all know who they both are. He was like, this Wooty Woo. He was like, Trish just called you? He said, yeah, she just called me. I'm like, golly. He was like, yeah. He said, me and Trish fuck around. Well, who's she over here right now? He said, what? He was like, yeah, we just got off the phone because I paged her. She called me right back. We going to the movies this weekend. This motherfucker told everything that we talked about. I'm like, wow, really? This what we doing? So of course I'm defensive and well, why you even doing like you don't even trust me? Come on, Trish. Now I'm older. I'm like, I was looking like a complete idiot back then. So what ended up happening? Of course, me and him are done. We're over, right? But this is what got me. This is why I don't cheat. I don't lie. The way that he looked at me, because I fumbled him and me and him was cool. I had no reason to do that. I had no reason. I fucked off a perfectly good relationship. And the way that he looked at me, like my value, I decreased in value. Not only to him, but also to me, because I don't normally do fuck shit. I'm pretty much just an open book. So for me to do that, it was so out of character. It was so disrespectful to call another man from another man's house. And so I remember the way that he looked at me like, damn, I would have guessed anybody but you. That fucked me. That fucked my head up. So from that point on, I ain't fumbled nobody. Shit. I don't do all that fuck shit, but that was me fumbling somebody that was cool. To this day, me and him friends. Like I haven't seen him in a long time, but if I see him, we'll stop and we'll chit chat. And he may even bring that up. But I did that. And I could admit it when it first happened. Like, of course, I was arguing at first, and then I was like, "Damn, I did do that, huh?" He was like, "Yeah, you did that." So being accountable, that's number one. That's number fucking one. Be accountable when you on some fuck shit. So I ain't never fumbled nobody since then. I ain't self sabotage, nothing like that. I'm on some real shit. But that happened when I was 19. I'm now 51 and remember that like it happened yesterday because the way that he looked at me, like, he's like, man, I just didn't think you would do some shit like that. That's because I think we only got our word and our name. You know, you don't, that's all you got these days is you got your word. If you tell somebody you're gonna do something, you're gonna do it, and you got your name, and your name's supposed to mean something. To me, my name means something, my word means something. So because I lied and made a complete ass out of myself, it did something to me. So y'all still ain't talking to me. I'm trying to figure out what's going on. I ain't got no common sense in like what, 5 minutes? Come on now. Y'all know we interactive. Y'all know we interactive. Come on, 5 minutes. What you got? And I know I'm not the only one that fumbled somebody. I know that. But I also know women don't like to admit shit like that. So let's go. I'm waiting. Nothing. Y'all ain't gonna say nothing because you know I'll get off this thing, honey. I've been got me a shower and went on to bed. Come on with me. Come on with me. Y'all got to come on in the room. We having a whole prayer meeting. Ladies, let's go. I'm looking at my comments and I ain't got none. I ain't had none for about 5 minutes. You not talking? Ain't nobody gonna say nothing? Still waiting. Cause y'all know what time is it? 6:37. Y'all gotta give me something. Still, y'all still ain't got nothing to say. Still, it's been a couple minutes. Because I ain't giving no more nuggets till y'all say something. All right, I'm gonna give you like another minute and then we gonna disconnect. You dropped? Like your internet dropped? Okay, you back? All right, I got you. I got you. Mr. West, you got on just in time because I was sure finna shut it down. They done got quiet on me. And you know I don't do quiet. The show is interactive. Okay, sir. I see you. I see you. Want me to pull you on? What you gonna do? Rachel just got off. I think she lost signal or something.
You see me? Hear me?
I can hear you, Mr. West. Let me see. For some reason, you're not coming on my phone. You're coming up. So you should come up on my computer, I would think. Okay, I see you on my computer. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing all right. Doing all right. So sorry, I'm running late. I dropped my phone the other day and had this long line in my phone. So I
Mhm.
had to go. My new phone came in. I had to go get it, and so it took a while for it to switch phones up. So transfer information data, but as soon as it got done, I had to get on. I'm still sitting here at AT&T with my guy Nick. What's up, Nick? You got any special deals for us folks here? I'm plugging AT&T. We got 20% off internet right now. We got $6 phones. Yes. So, been kind of quiet?
Huh?
Has it been kind of quiet, you said?
No, we was just on the roll, honey. We was getting it. Miss Rachel came on here. She was dropping major nuggets
Mm.
with the women.
Well,
So
I have
this
to
is
get
what.
a
So let me
replay.
just tell you how we was doing this.
Okay.
This is not so much about somebody you was fucking with that self sabotage.
Yeah.
This is about you self sabotaging the relationship. So it's
Okay.
about accountability.
Right. About myself self-sabotaging. Or
Mm-hmm.
any, okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So what have you done to self sabotage? Every time I gotta be messing with this, my whole head is cut off. Let me see. Let's see. Hello, Kingsford. Okay, let me fix that. Hey, Talisha, what you got, Tyler?
Say it again.
What you got? You got a story about when you fucked up, when you self
Oh
sabotaged a
man.
perfectly good relationship?
Let me see. Let me see. Well, yeah, I guess I can drop a few, over the years, through learning experience. You know, um, I had been in a couple relationships that where I felt, eh, I myself kind of just, said, when you're younger and so forth, you don't think about your, hey man, you go through things, you so forth, but I think back about 10 years ago. I was with somebody and had opportunity to be with somebody, and I think I just didn't trust opening up and being safe with that person. I think
Mhm.
the thing is really from myself and maybe from any man perspective is find that person you can really open up to and be safe and feel
Mhm.
comfortable with. No matter, I say you might care about that person, you might, or whatever, and really want to. But sometimes I've been in situations. I have had situations where information was used against me, and to trust or trust in a relationship is really the biggest thing as far as loyalty and
I
trust.
can't hear
And
you.
loyalty is very key. And I think I lost all our relationship because I didn't trust and open up to someone who I really thought could have been good for me.
Hmm.
And pretty much, you know, um, it was costly. It was costly.
Hmm.
You know, when I look back and so forth. But I think for men, we really have to find, you know, um, no matter what, we have to find to be able to get over to trust whoever our partner is to because you have to be transparent, fully transparent, good, bad, and different. We all have baggage. We all have been through things. You
Hmm.
know,
So
nobody's
okay,
perfect.
so tell me this. As a man, tell
Yeah.
me this. You have been with, and I believe this to be true for most men. I believe
Mhm.
that most men have had good women that they have fumbled. Um, so with that. So if you say you found a good one, you fumbled her because of whatever reason, you feel like you couldn't open up this, that, and the other. At some point, it seems like, and this is my experience, seems like once a man fumbles a good woman, once he does that, he knows what the fuck he did. And for me, they always been the block. They always come back and want another chance. They want another second chance. So for me, when I deal with a man who fumbles me for just nothing, because I know who I am. So when
Mm-hmm.
they fumble me and they come, see, you never get the same Trish twice.
Mm-hmm.
So the way I was loving on you before, and then you fumble me and left, and now you want to come back. I don't do revolving door. And on top of that, let's say I do take you back, you'll never get all that shit I was giving out at first. You'll never get it
Mm-hmm.
again. I'm gonna always be forever changed. I'm never gonna be that open with you.
Yeah.
So how do y'all deal with that?
Um, well, Trish, it's very hard because, like I said, the thing is that, um, and I'm gonna just be honest. I don't think no one who has ever went back to somebody, or or anybody who's taken somebody back, okay, has gotten or went back to somebody, got the same person again,
Mm-hmm.
and that's man or woman, because you've left an imprint on that person. You know,
Mm-hmm.
when you start off with a person for the very first time and they come all sweet, or they do this for you, rub your back or take you to dinner and do all this stuff. That's pure. That's just pure because you started off fresh.
Mm-hmm.
That's the honeymoon that's fresh. But when a person f's up to a point and they go through their battles, whatever, and so forth, they do their breakup, no matter who did a fumble or anything
Mm-hmm.
else.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it takes a lot to win the trust back. And I think a lot of it is, do you want to put in the work to win the trust back? Do you really love that person enough to give yourself or back to that? So it's not an overnight fix. It never is. Because like I said, you can, no matter how good that person is, you always gonna have in the back of your head something they did to
Mm-hmm.
you 5 years
Mm-hmm.
ago, and I hate to say, on both parts. I mean, let's say women keep score. They know they keep score of if a man fucked up. You know what I'm saying? And they remember shit. Like I said, more than a man might. Okay, I remember that, but so what? But you know, I think that for a man, it takes a godly effort. I'm gonna say that, to where you have to really, really, really give beyond your 100%, 200%, if you really want that, get back in with that person, with
Mm-hmm.
that woman. You know what I'm saying? And it's really on the person if they're gonna allow that person back in. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, a lot of times people don't block out or can't forgive. They might they're never gonna forget. They may
Mm-hmm.
forgive, or they say they might forgive, but they never forget.
Mm-hmm.
So
I don't think nobody forgets
no one
though. Because I
forgets.
think you would be a fool if you did forget.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
so you
but
you you can't
yeah,
walk around like like you don't know shit. You gotta
yeah,
you gotta know something. And
yeah.
then because you start to recognize patterns in people. So if you start to forget every infraction
Mhm,
that's been posed against you, then there's
mhm.
no way you can recognize patterns in people. Hey, Thomas, now hold on. I got a long ass message from Sarah. Let me see if I
Listen,
can read this. Hold on.
all right.
Sarah says, all I know is that fear must have set in because after I married my husband, you think I would be good, wait, hold on. You think I would be good, I'll be cool, but no, immediately so immediately fear came over me and I thought that it was a game. I thought it was a joke, and I just couldn't believe that it was really happening. Now, mind you, this was my third marriage, and so I think I must have just brought on fear from the first two failed marriages. But I thought my mindset was either it was me or those two marriages. Hold on, let me scroll. Those two failed marriages. But I
Mm.
thought my mindset was either it was me or the two marriages. Uh, Wait a minute, Sarah. Hold on. Two marriages was just no good. Which you should just come on, Sarah. You should
Right,
just come
right.
on. Hold on. Wait, let me find it again. Both men ended up cheating on me. So when I would recognize some signs in my now husband, who was a hey Judy, in my now husband from the other men not cheating on stuff like that, just know that just just some signs to make you think this is okay. This is going to be some bull crap. Um, hold on. Where'd it go? Oh shit, I lost it. Hold on. Let me find it. Let me find it.
Mhm.
Two marriages. Okay, now I'm going. Okay, shoe boxing, and I promise you, like 2 months into the marriage, I wanted to break up like every other week. I find something little that came up, and then I don't have time to know to be playing games. I was already there, been there, done that. Had my husband tell me I was doing stuff like that there. Yeah, baby, I wish you just would have came on camera. Um,
Right.
because it's all over the place. Like I sound crazy trying to read it. They told me we married now, and every argument is not a breakup. But after I married him, I wanted to break up. It had to be at least 10 times. Made my wedding dress, our wedding memorabilia, because I just thought that he was playing me. But I don't know why I felt like that. You know what? He did forgive me. He forgave me and went and took some of the stuff out of the trash, not my dress and stuff, and started praying. I'm like, whoa, okay. Started praying with me. So this man prays for me, forgives me, and for even at the break and stuff throwing away. We'll be married 10 years in November. Whew. Oh, I'm tired now. Okay, are you saying? Let me try. Sarah, are you saying that because you had two failed marriages, that one of the things you would do is every time you guys had a disagreement, you took it as a breakup? So is that one of the things you would say? Well, do you want a divorce? Is that something you would do? Is because that's kind of what I'm picking up. If I'm wrong, let me know. But I feel like I'm picking that up. I used to be like that, like when I was real young. If I was dating somebody and something happened, like so, what we breaking up? I I was like that because I'm a child of abandonment. So I just assume you're gonna leave, right? You threw what away? What did you throw away, Sarah?
Relationship.
Well, she was saying that he got some stuff out the trash. So like, were you saying you threw your wedding dress away or something? Okay, we're gonna wait for Sarah to come back and tell us what he
Well,
did.
that's a prime example because we all, and I'm going to say people in general, from our own experiences, past experiences, relationships, and so forth, we we hold our mates not on a different standard. We always look at, I understand we always, but sometimes people look at the worst scenario in a relationship of possibilities, the fear, because they've been hurt before. They don't want to be hurt again. They don't want, that feeling. No one likes that feeling. No one likes that feeling. If you ever had that feeling, you really, really cared about somebody, loved somebody, and they betrayed you, folded on you, you lose them, or whatever way, whatever mutual or not, that's a hard
Mm-hmm.
feeling. That's a feeling that no one, and the fear of losing somebody again, or it becomes a defense mechanism. You know what I'm saying? Well, I'm gonna
Right.
bail out before it gets bad. I'm bail out because I see signs that from that I've experienced from somebody else. And and the thing is that sometimes we use that as instead of a positive, we use it as negative, and we totally self destruct before it's just
Okay.
like um, if you're growing a plant, but before that plant even gets to full blown, you just cut it down. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Because you haven't got a chance to see the beauty of what that plant is going to blossom into. You know what I'm saying? So
Mm-hmm.
sometimes we don't want to put in that work to see where that plant is going to blossom into. We before it gets full blown and start to bud, they wants to cut. We want to cut it. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I'm saying? Because it's not growing right, or it's not growing fast enough, or whatever. And that's how I look at a lot of relationships is that we have a issue. Men and women find ways to find the worst or the wrong, or try to find a reason to say, oh, it's not going to work, or because something else happened in their life, or whatever other traumas they've had, or the relationship from the last or the last marriage or everything else. So
Mm-hmm.
we just stay stuck in that mindset,
Mm-hmm.
of they it's flight. We run from it instead of basically, what, really digging deep and once again, it takes a lot of communication. It takes a lot of work, and if
Mm-hmm.
if if, if the communication is just going to be all negative, you know, I mean, yeah, we got to talk about truths. You got to be heard on both
Mm-hmm.
parts. Women got to be heard. Men got to be heard.
Mm-hmm.
And if we're not hearing one another, then understanding one another, then that's where we start losing all the way
Mm-hmm.
around. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying? And being accountable, and that's the growth in any relationship is being accountable for anything as far as actions or making that person feel a certain way. If we don't actually taken for we take things for granted as far as how I'm gonna just say for a man, you know, we supposed to be strong and be able to handle things and don't have no feelings and so forth. But we feel a lot. We have thoughts. We have, and we speak out of what we say social terms. Then we're weak, or he's crying, or no, we have feelings too. We get done certain ways too, and sometimes we don't feel a certain, feel respected. Then we're wrong for speaking our truth.
Mm-hmm.
You know, where women can just say, you know what, the sky is purple,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm feeling a certain way, and everybody's gonna jump on the bandwagon. Oh, baby, you will be all right, so forth. But a man speak this truth, it's gonna be like, man, what's wrong with you, man? What's your problem or anything else? So, I think, like I said, when it comes to certain things, men keep it in, you
Mm-hmm.
know, and sometimes they just basically shut down because
Mm-hmm.
and it's part of this, the mechanism of a defense mechanism. Instead of, women, they speak out their truth. It's being heard, through whatever, social media, wherever. And everybody rides that wave. And so it must be, it must be what it is. It must be how she feels. It must be him all the time. He's the problem. He's the problem. What did he do? It's not always about what the man did. It's about what we didn't do together as as a as a couple.
So
So, and
how does that correlate into either party self
well,
sabotaging? Where does that come in?
I think it just basically after going through experiences, bad experiences,
Mm-hmm.
unfortunate experiences. Because I ain't gonna say everything's a bad experience. I think some is just basically unfortunate experiences. Some things we
Mm-hmm.
already know
Yeah.
is wrong, but we decide we want to try to make it right. You know,
Mm-hmm.
so um, but the thing is that um, I I just believe that sometimes we just basically we're as a defense mechanism when the first time or something happens and it reminds us of a past experience, and we decide, see, that females are like this,
Mm-hmm.
so in their back of their mind, that's what they
Mm-hmm.
feel, men will feel, and I, like I said, um, and they shut down or they don't trust, and I think for men more is really they want to be trust, they want to feel, they want to trust their partner, they want to trust their
Mm-hmm.
partner, you know what I'm saying, they want that respect, they want the they want to just basically feel, um and I said feel love, but like I said, men feel love differently. They just want, if they just know they are respected and they can trust who they go home to.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think men can open up. More. But if it's always going to be a tit for tat or issue, then men shut down and so forth, and then they just basically, either start walking, quietly around, or they show off and start sneaking and doing other things. Men don't just get in a relationship and say, "Oh, I got a relationship now, but I'm gonna start cheating." They all men don't do that. You know.
But listen, so this is my thing. So we still talking about self sabotage. So I'm trying to wrap what
Yeah.
you're saying into that. It sounds like what you're saying is people continue to harp on their past. But my
You're
thing
right.
is, so like they call me a track star. That's what
Yes.
men that try, because I get on about my business.
Right.
I think that I think that with people, you start to recognize patterns in people, and
Mhm.
you start to see different shit that you're going through, how it relates, blah blah blah, and then you move accordingly. One of the
Mhm.
things Sarah just said was her husband called it, and he saved her from herself. The closest people to you, a lot of times, can tell you what the issue is because it's that apparent. Sometimes it's not apparent to you because you're the one that's in the midst of it, but
Mhm.
other people around you to see, listen, I notice when this happens or that happens, this is how you react or respond to it. You
Right.
know, what's with that? Let's talk about it. Some people, and we talked earlier, especially women don't like to be wrong about nothing. So
Mm.
women will they won't be accountable for it. They're like, I don't know what you're talking about, woo, woo, woo. But it's a cycle, and it keeps going and going and going, and if it's not stopped, then the relationship itself is going to self-destruct.
Mhm.
So that's my thing is I feel like people get caught up in patterns, and a lot of folks, so this is what I noticed about me being out here or whatever. I'll run across a man that'll hold his past against me. And I'm like, all right, shit, we just met. How we get here. So at some point you have to know that you know who the fuck you are, what you're going for, what you're standing for. But then you said something also about kind of like people giving up too soon, cutting the plant down before it's able to blossom. How long do you say, in your opinion, do you give a new relationship that's already plagued with whatever kind of problems, self-sabotage type shit? How long do you give that person where you say, you know what, let me move around because this is not going to work?
That's a good question. Um, First of all, I think you have to believe that it's going to work. I think first of all, because like I said, sometimes people come in with that already negative, toxic. Okay, it's for a moment.
Mm-hmm.
But I think don't for one, if you're not serious about getting in a relationship or want to be in a relationship, don't be in a relationship. Be honest about it. You know what I'm saying? I think that's the first thing. I mean, I think most women love to have a man. I think there's men who wants to have a good woman. Hopefully, But if you're not seriously ready for a relationship, don't jump in a relationship. For one, okay. but then when you're in a relationship, I think that there's layers or steps to it because you actually getting to know each other, finding out things about that person. You know, um, if you guys notice, okay, well, everybody's not perfect. You know that they have certain things going on, in life. They got, it could be a family thing. You got to be, some might have already kids, grown kids or whatever, or, I mean, you're talking about a lot of different layers of to what a relationship might look like. So I look at is, are you guys working towards the same goal? Do you guys have the same goal, and no matter how you get there? And it's all about communicating them goals, and understanding that, okay, can we work through this? Now, like I said, if you can't work through it, if you have conversations about um, the sky, whatever the case would be, and so forth, and you don't see no changes, then I can see, oh, you know what, after 6 months to a year or whatever, how much time you put in, it's only on the person, but it's time to make some moves or move different, move different. So I can't sit here and say what anybody person could do or how much time you put in a relationship because everybody's different as far as how they are in a
Mm-hmm.
relationship or what their needs are, what they want in a relationship. So sometimes it takes a little time. You gotta be patient. Sometimes you got, what, oh man, this is too much. Bail on out, get on out. Um, so I think it really depends on the individuals within that relationship,
Mm-hmm.
and so forth. Because I can't speak for for them. But for me, I've learned that I can if it's somebody who's worthy, or that not saying worthy, but I think is worth fighting for, working for, or working with. I can give it a year and a half, 2 years if we're in a relationship. But like I said, once again, you gotta know who you're dealing with before you even get in a committed relationship. I mean, don't
Well,
get in a
that's what
committed
I'm talking
relationship,
about. So
huh?
this is what I'm saying. So you get with somebody, right? Now,
Mm-hmm.
I'll use me as an example. I get with somebody, and maybe the first month everything is cool. You can see a little, because I'm very observant, so I may see a little something, right?
Mm-hmm.
Me, if I have to keep repeating myself, so if I tell a man, hey, I don't like when you come over with black shoes on. I'm just making shit up. I
Yes.
don't like when
Right.
you wear black shoes over to my house.
Right.
And every time he come over, he got on black shoes. So did you not hear what the fuck I said? So I got to say it every time. Every time is something. So it's sometimes it's not about not wanting to be with that person. Sometimes the communication barrier is just what it is. If I have to say the same thing over and over
Right.
and there's been no effort to do nothing, I'm not giving you 6 months to a year to 2 years. I may give you 6 weeks. And shit,
Right.
you might get 6 days depending on how soon I start to say this shit. Because
Right.
communication is so important. It's the heartbeat of the relationship. So
Right.
can you get with somebody who maybe they got past discretions from communication with their first wife or their ex-girlfriend. Maybe she didn't listen and so then they bring that same shit over to you. It's always important when you end a relationship
Mm-hmm.
to, for whatever the reason is, to get some healing, to take some time to yourself, to do a self inventory, to figure out what makes you tick. I do it every time if I'm talking to somebody, I do a self inventory constantly. If we get into a disagreement, I do a self inventory. Hey, Asha, I do all that because I need to know, Trish, could you have handled this different? Some
Mm-hmm.
people are not accountable. Now, I will apologize because my thing is, um, it doesn't make me less of a woman to apologize to you. It doesn't take anything away from me. It doesn't devalue me to say, I'm sorry. But that sorry has to be followed with change behavior.
Right.
So at some point, when you first meet somebody, you have to know, like, okay, we both in it to win it. Hey, Celine, we in it to win it. We want to see what it do. But if you're the person that's given the most, and they're just receiving, you got to realize that too. You got to see what the balance is
Mm-hmm.
and what it's going to do and what it's going to be. So you go back to, okay, this person, he was in a bad relationship and now he over here with me, but he's still tripping on that. So now he's come into my space, into my peace, and this self-sabotage is all wrapped around my shit. So now do I give them 6 months to heal, or do I just get the fuck on? Hey, Latifah, me, I get the fuck on. That's why they call me a track star. I think we too
Well,
old to not recognize our own flaws.
right. You know, one thing I'm gonna say, I don't think I will want a woman. Like I said, now that I don't think I would want to be in a relationship with a woman who just got out of a relationship anyway, because
Right.
like I said, because once again, you're not doing yourself well. You're not doing them any favors
Mhm.
either from jumping into a relationship with them. If you like that person, you give them time. You know what? We go out and have a good time. We'll go eat and here, whatever, from time to time. But the thing is you have to let them find their space, and
Mhm.
they need to heal. And,
Right.
and you're not doing that person any favors by saying, "Oh, you're available now. Oh, let me wrap you up."
Mhm.
Because the thing is, like I said, you don't know what they've been through already,
Right. Mhm.
and vice versa. So, and I had a friend just not too long ago recently. He started dating somebody, a friend, another mutual friend of mine, and he asked me about her, and I said, well, and I told him, I said, man, you know, each your own. You guys are grown, but just have fun, enjoy her company. But I, I said you're gonna figure out on your own
Mhm.
on this one. And I just saw him not too long ago, and of course he said, "Oh, bro, thank you." I mean, he really like, yeah, man, I'm done with that situation because he saw her patterns of toxic. But the thing is, what it was
Mhm.
she's jumping from one man to the next man to the next man, and it ain't doing her no good because she's not healing. She's not taking the time to heal
Mhm.
herself. So and like I said, we all have to do it. We all have to take that time to reevaluate ourselves, self-check ourselves, heal, you
Mhm.
know, and then, if possible, start
Mhm.
dating or start looking at dating and so forth, especially on a serious note. Like I said, we got people, we jump into relationships too fast. And I think
Mhm.
that's another issue. We jump in the
Yeah.
sack too fast. We jump in the sack. You meet somebody, and after a couple of drinks and hanging out one night, 2 nights, whatever, then you jump in the sack with this person, and then you find yourself with this person from every day, every other day. You talking, and then you find out you get into something, and it's hard. It's hard to let's get out of those situations or just move on. I mean, everybody's not track stars, Trish, so it's not they're gonna
Mhm.
move and just keep it moving. But the thing is that we get in these situations too fast. And the thing
Mhm.
is, you gotta value yourself. You gotta value that person, and we don't have that value there. You don't have the boundaries there. That's where we get in trouble.
You know.
So
Oh, you right. I say that shit all the time.
yeah.
Hey, y'all, listen, if you can hear me, hit share real quick. Share the video right quick for me. The thing is, everybody's so hypersexual. So everybody they just have sex to offer. If you allow yourself to be caught up and you're always available for sex, a lot of women will, oh, he liked me, because I had to hurry up and put out. Ladies, men collect women. This ain't no male bashing shit. Be mad if you want to, but I'm giving you what God loves. Men have always collected women. So when they get to talking about mileage and all, they got way more miles than you could ever have, baby. They've been collecting women. So the fact that you give it up so freely, you just put yourself in the category with everybody else. So you have to set boundaries. You have to be like, look, this is what it do. My thing is, I'm not dealing with all these fucking spirits. The older I get, I can see people's spirits. I feel energy and all that kind of shit. So you do have to be mindful of where you are in this thing. And I listen, I wear that track star name with a badge of honor because I done been through some fuck shit. So as soon as a man will come to me and everything is cool, and he'll come with this aggressive energy, like a monster. I'm like, ooh, I'm scared. I don't like that because you don't have to handle me like that. You don't have to control me. None of that because I'm good people. I'm gonna fuck with you the long way. But I do find that men, especially when they know I like them, all of a sudden they get real aggressive. And I don't want you doing this. Like they got all that. I'm out the game. Then I'm out the game. I don't do aggressive men like that because you don't have to handle me like that. I'm not out here in these streets. It's not that serious. So, but to me, a man that come, that's self-sabotage. So you coming with me, and I'm already doing what the fuck I said I was gonna do, but you coming real aggressive, that the only thing that do is make me fall back. At this point in life, my peace is so important to me. And at 51, I want to laugh hard and love easy. Fuck all that loving hard. I ain't loving hard no more. I want to love easy and laugh hard for the rest of my days. That's what I got.
Yeah. Trish, I tell you, over the course of years and so forth, and to be honest, I've never been, one to really like be the women, like had to have women, a bunch of women, or anything else.
Mm-hmm.
Being in the industry and so forth, being a bartender, being club promoter, and everything else. I sit back and watch. I do more people watching than anything.
Mm-hmm.
And I watch how men operate. I watch how women operate. And I look at things as like, and sometimes that's how I might pick someone who I might have interest in because you know I watch how they move.
Mm-hmm.
Every weekend I see somebody and I might see this person and I watch her for that night and I watch her 2 weeks later and I
Mm-hmm.
see how they move. It's like I said, and like I said, don't get me wrong. When you're in that atmosphere, but also I see how they move outside of that because this is a small community. I see people at different functions and so forth, and I just kind of like at awe as far as watching how they deal with other men or men deal with women. You know, I've seen the men, like I said, being aggressive and being overbearing to certain women. You know, and I feel like, wow, I mean, that got to be a big turnoff. You know what I'm saying? And then
Mm-hmm.
I see women who just they are out there and like I say they're looking for something, but they don't know what they're looking for. They grasp of whoever, they take that
Mm-hmm.
person home, they screw that person whenever if they do or don't. Then I see them, you know, later on, and they going through a cycle. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, you're right. Women don't need to sit here and give themselves to a man. Enjoy your life, enjoy your peace. You know what I'm saying? Get to know people, but like I said, I don't believe in just like you have to lay down with a man just to get his you know his attention.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you I
Mm-hmm.
myself, if you can't stimulate me intellectually, you know what, it's really you know I mean, I think it's just basically because after you have that 5 minutes of fun, 10 minutes of fun, whatever, what else you got to talk about?
Mm-hmm.
Can you talk to me about what's going on in the world? Can you talk to me about my black culture? Can you talk to me about you know the needs that I need to hear, things that I need to hear? You know what
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying? And if you can come to that level, I lose interest. I
Mm-hmm.
kind of lose interest. You know what I'm saying? So I've always been the one where it's never been about
Mm-hmm.
the sexual piece. You know what I'm saying? It's really been about more of the mental, um, you know, hit me, in my mindset and making me think
Yeah.
about things or challenging me to be better or do better in life. You know what I'm saying? If you're not challenging me or supporting me or doing something
Mm-hmm.
to where it's going to benefit both of us, then
Mm-hmm.
and I say, you know what, I'm better off being by myself.
Right.
You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? And that's why I look at it. But I'm willing to work with whoever. I'm willing to build with somebody. But at the same time, it's hard. You know what I'm saying? It's everybody has different thoughts, motives, as far as what they're looking for, why they're in a relationship or why they're trying to get into a relationship, you know, so I think a lot of times it really comes down to that piece as far as do you trust your mate? Do you do
Mm-hmm.
you really trust who you're with? You know, and sometimes like I said, you can't, who wants to keep starting over in life?
Mm-hmm.
Who wants to keep starting over in life, especially at the age that we are?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I ain't got time
Mm-hmm.
for
I
that.
agree. Hold on, more. I got a comment. Mr. Morris, how you doing, Mr. Price? Morris says, when you become my age, you learn to give positive energy nowadays. People give the same energy that they are receiving. And I believe, for the most part, I believe that's true. And a lot of times, Morris, what I notice is when they do come with that fuck shit energy and they can clearly see you ain't on it, it's like kryptonite. They just get on about their business. Because the things, like, I feel like this as people, we're not responsible for who we attract, but we are responsible for who we entertain. So if you
Right.
entertain a clown, you the head of the fucking circus. So you got to know what it do. And you're right. When you get to be a certain age, all that shit's out the window. Because I can tell you, for me, I ain't got no patience, and I don't pray for patience. Y'all can have all that shit. At this age, we are all still likely healing from something. What are you
Mhm.
healing from? How can I serve you in the midst of that? How can I? Because that's who I am as a woman. If I'm with a man, how can I serve you? I'm going to help you as much as I can without being in your lane. I'm going to help you from my lane, because the queen can move in ways that a king can't. So a man has to know, listen, this is where I want to be. He has to know that. And regardless of what he went through, regardless of what she went through, at the end of the day, when it comes to this self-sabotage, you guys, you got to get healed from your past.
Mhm.
And sometimes we talk a lot about relationships between men and women. Sometimes that healing needs to stem from back in your childhood. Sometimes it wasn't that a man or a woman fucked your head up. You could have been fucked up from when you was a kid. Some of us had fucked up parents. We had a fucked up dad, a fucked up mom. We had fucked up aunties and uncles and shit. Sometimes that's what it do, and that healing needs to go all the way back to the root. And sometimes that root is when you were a child. What did you go through? Did you come from? I come from two drug addicted parents. So I had to go back and get my fucking mind
Okay.
right.
Right.
So it's not always about a man dogged you or a woman dogged you. Go back to your childhood and figure out, why do I do this thing? Why am I always in a cycle of fuck shit? How do I always find myself here? You have to go back and get that healing.
Well, the thing is, you're right. We all have trauma, and a lot of it don't come from just our relationships. It comes from our childhood, and also just to say, historically, things have been passed down generation to generation to generation. Like I said, ever since we've been in this country.
Mm-hmm.
So understanding, the what has been systematically put in our, I'm say our cultural backgrounds and so forth, of just like in, dark skin hate light skin hate dark skin. I mean, you take it all the way back, what I'm saying, things that happen
Mm-hmm.
just like I said within our own generations of family and everything
Mm-hmm.
else. There's always something. and it could be the smallest thing, but it's always something, and it triggers each and every one of them. Everybody has it in them,
Mm-hmm.
so it's just basically
Mm-hmm.
figuring it all out, and then also how to deal with it, and
Right.
understanding the situation, and you know, and it, it's not always, it's hard when you have somebody that's genuinely there for you and wants to be there for you, and that's where it's
Mm-hmm.
even hard. Just like Sarah, she had her husband, you know, she's had two failed marriages. Her third one, the guy might be on point. He wants to be there. He wants to be her all, but because of things from her past two marriages, or even more than that, she
Mm-hmm.
has these, you know, um, you know, flights, or decides, hey, give up or whatever. And like I said, but the thing is, it takes a strong mind. It takes a strong mind. It takes a spiritual piece, to where you have to be able to work through that, and also
Mm-hmm.
work with your partner. If you're
Mm-hmm.
not willing to work with your partner, if they willing to work with you and stick it
Mm-hmm.
out with you, do it. You could be the most fucked up person, but if they willing to work,
Mm-hmm.
be there for you and work for you, that's huge. That's
Yeah,
huge.
stand up.
But nobody wants to be nobody's punching bag either, male or
Well, that's
female.
the thing. Most people, men and women, they'll ride with you, but you can't turn the shit on them. You can't turn
Right.
toxic on them. But most people, if they fuck with you, they'll rock with you. They'll
Yeah.
get with it and all that. So, well, hold on. We got a couple comments. Tianda says, "I'm healed. The younger, unhealed version of me wasn't interested in a relationship. It took a lot of years. I can understand that definitely." Morris says, Mr. Price says, when we were younger, we're watching the wrong people. We're not watching positive people because that's not what was around us. So we pick up the negative things, and as adults, negative things that adults do thinking they're cool. And that's absolutely correct because a lot of times we are a product of our environment.
Hmm.
And black people, it was growing up, it was better to be cool than be right. As long as you was cool, it didn't matter
Yeah.
what you was doing, good, bad, or indifferent. So what happens is when you got fucked up kids, those same fucked up kids grow up to be fucked up adults. So
Mhm.
at some point we have to sit down and say, why am I doing this? Why am I in this? Because I'm the common denominator with all of this. Why am I allowing myself to go through this? You have to get to the root
Yeah.
and kill it. You
Yeah.
have to. So I would encourage everybody, because we about out of time, so we're gonna wrap it up and do a couple final thoughts
Mhm.
between Tyler and myself.
Yeah.
Get some help. If you know you need help, if you can see that people that love you and fuck with you the long way, you push them away, you self-sabotage. Because I'm gonna tell you something, ain't no more good people in the back. Ain't no more, Amazon ain't shipping out no good folks. We got what we got. There's no surplus in the warehouse. This is what it is. So we got to make do with what we got. And you got to make sure people that are good to you, you good right back to them. Because I never take for granted. If a motherfucker love me back, I don't take that for granted because people are fucked up. Oh,
Mhm.
we got another comment real quick. Latifa says, "I'm happily single by choice. I now know what I'm supposed to. I now know what I'm supposed to entertain and not. Understood. And ain't nothing. You winning. If you know that, you winning." Tyler, give us your final thoughts, and we're gonna wrap it up.
Well, I'm gonna say this also to Yonda and stuff like that. Been knowing her for years. That's my Ace Boom, Aries twin, everything. She's come a long way. I watched her for a long time, and I'm happy to see where she's at. She has
Mm-hmm.
a fabulous husband.
Mm-hmm.
Cause that helps out right there. She got a fabulous husband who, like I said, gives her her space to be her
Mm-hmm.
and everything, and he's opposite of her, and cause you know her, he's supposed to, she what's going, but he lets her be her, and so forth, and but at the same time, she has a fabulous relationship with that man, and sometimes, like I said, once again, you know, we have to, if you, but like you say, self sabotage. One, sometimes we go out, we get out of these relationships, or get out these situations. But guess what? It's like a magnet. We find that something similar to
Mm-hmm.
what we already just had,
Mm-hmm.
you know, or something, worse, or anything else. So, the thing is, sometimes Dixie, you have to take that time to find
Mm-hmm.
yourself, do your inner work,
Mm-hmm.
get peace within yourself, understanding what it is that's causing or having you feel like you have to run from a situation, because you don't know what that situation is or could be. Put it like this, you know, as we're older now, we're not running the streets. When we was younger, we would go, hey man, we did whatever. But now that you're older, you've been through and experienced different men. Men experience different women. If we don't know the type of woman we want in our life, or men that we want in our life, you know what I'm saying? Then yeah, be single. But at the same time, if you want a man, a good man, find that excellent man out there. Women, same for what you can't find a woman. If I go out right now, I go places. You're not gonna find that woman out in the streets. You know, there's women out here that deserve good men. There's men that deserve good women. We got to make sure we're the best product for that person.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I look at. You have to find the inner peace within yourself. Find what it is that you're looking for, and hold your values and hold your boundaries to the standards.
Mm-hmm. I
That's
agree. Mm-hmm.
that's yeah.
And that's pretty much, I'm a lightweight piggyback off that, y'all, and then I'm gonna let you go because we out of time. You have to be in love with you. And when you in love with you, it's some shit you're not doing. It's just some shit you're not gonna do. And so um I say stay true to you. We all have things about us that we need to change, that we need to work on. But there's also some things about you and about me that are our core values that we want to keep because those things make us who we are. They make us an individual. Hold true to the things that make you better, and those things that make you better, work on making those things better so that they will continue to make you better. But anything that devalues you, kill it. Get to the root and kill it. Period. Stop repeating the same cycle over and over again and again, because as you start to elevate in life, every level is a new devil. Every time you got to level 10, so you got a new devil on 10. When you get to level 12, that's a new devil on level 12. And every single level you go through, God gives you the tools, the keys, the equipment to open up every lock, every door, every window on the next level. So if you keep all of these things, it will prevent you from doing the same shit over and over again and again. So stay true to you. If you're a liar, stop fucking lying. Because that fucks everything up. Stop lying. You want to be believed, be honest. So that's the biggest thing I think between men and women is y'all lie all the fucking time. Both of y'all be lying for no reason. Lying to yourself and others around you. Get your mind right and your heart right. Keep the meat, throw away the bone. Y'all, we gone. We see you next week. Thanks, Tyler. Thanks, Rachel, for
Hey,
joining us
thanks for
earlier.
having me.
All right,
Thanks for having me.
baby. I'll see you next
All
week. Y'all
right.
have a good night.